You know that feeling, right? It's a busy night, you're tired, and that freezer aisle just feels like a total lifesaver. But what if, behind all that frosty glass, there's a secret battle going on for your health? Well, the source material we're diving into today argues that some of those convenient foods are actually working against you, while others are some of the most powerful allies you can have. So today, we're going to unlock the secrets of your freezer and figure out which is which.
Wow. I mean, when you read a line like that, you really have to stop and think. Sludge for your engine, a slow-acting toxin. And hey, these are not my words. This is a direct quote from the source we're breaking down today. It's a pretty dramatic claim for sure, but it gets right to the heart of the matter. Not all frozen food is created equal. Not by a long shot. So let's start with the villains of our story. These are the foods that our source claims can actually harm your arteries. They're the silent threats that might be hiding out in your freezer, promising a quick and easy meal, but maybe doing more damage than good. And here they are, the 4 main categories to really watch out for. So what's the common thread here? Well, they're often what you'd call ultra-processed. They're just loaded with things like unhealthy fats, way too much sodium, and refined sugars. Each one of these comes with a hidden cost to your health. Let's just sit with that image for a second. Sludge for your engine. Imagine putting thick, gooey sludge into a high-performance car engine. It would just gum everything up, right? It would slow it down, and eventually the whole thing would break down. That is the exact visual our source uses for frozen breakfast pastries. It's a really powerful way to think about how these foods, packed with sugar and refined carbs, can mess with your body's performance. Now, this phrasing is absolutely key. A slow-acting toxin. This isn't like getting food poisoning where you feel sick right away. No, this is about a gradual, sneaky effect. It's driven by stuff like industrial trans fats and all that sodium packed into many of those breaded coatings. The source suggests that with every single serving, a little bit of damage is being done, and over time, that adds up to a much, much bigger problem. And here it is. This is that bigger problem. The source directly links that slow-acting toxin to something called arterial stiffness. And this is a very real medical condition. See, your arteries are supposed to be flexible, kind of like rubber hoses. When they get stiff, your heart has to work way harder just to pump blood through them. And that can lead straight to things like high blood pressure and other serious heart issues. So we're not just talking about calories here. We're talking about the fundamental health of your entire cardiovascular system. Okay, so after hearing all of that, it's a totally fair question, isn't it? You might be thinking, well, that's it. I'm just going to walk right past the frozen section from now on. But actually, that would be a huge mistake because the freezer aisle isn't just a minefield. It's also a treasure chest. All right, let's talk about the other side of the freezer aisle, the good stuff. The source we're looking at calls this part your freezer's secret pharmacy. This is where you find the foods that can actively work to rebuild and support your health, using that freezing power to preserve some incredibly potent nutrients.
And this illustrates the whole idea perfectly. It's not about what you can't have, it's all about making a smarter substitution. So instead of that highly processed breaded fish, the source says to stock your freezer with frozen salmon. Why? Because it's an absolute powerhouse of omega-3 fatty acids, which are famous for fighting inflammation and supporting your arterial health. It's just a simple, direct upgrade.
Here we go again, another fantastic example. Those creamy, heavy, sauce-laden frozen dinners, ditch them. Instead, grab a simple bag of frozen spinach. I mean, think about it. It's incredibly versatile, it's packed with nutrients, and you get to control exactly what goes into your meal. You're taking the power back.
So let's line up our heroes, shall we? You've got frozen salmon, which is actively helping your arteries thanks to those anti-inflammatory omega-3s. You've got frozen spinach, a super simple staple that's just loaded with things like vitamin K for your bones and vitamin A. And the source also gives a big shout out to frozen bone broth, which is rich in collagen and amino acids that can help rebuild your joints and support your gut. These aren't just foods, they're functional ingredients for your body. Okay, we've seen the villains, we've met the heroes, so how do we actually put this knowledge into practice? Well, the source lays out a really simple but super effective action plan for your next trip to the grocery store. It all comes down to this simple 3-step makeover. First step, identify. Take a look in your freezer right now. Do you have any of those artery cloggers in there? Step 2, replace. Next time you're shopping, make a conscious choice to replace them with the health builders. And finally, step 3, this is the most important habit to build, verify.
Always flip the box over and read the ingredients. Seriously, as a general rule, the shorter the list of words you can actually recognize, the better it is for you.
In the end, this is really what it all boils down to. The source is reframing the freezer from just a place of convenience to a place of actual power. It's your own personal pharmacy, and every single time you shop, you are writing a prescription for your own health. So the only question left is, what prescription will you write?